Okay, so where we're going to start today is, I think it's really important to understand that relationships aren't a series of big events, series of 1 hour round pen sessions. Hopefully, we all have better relationships with the people we spend life with, the people we live with. We should have better relationships with the people we live with and the people we work with. If we don't, then we probably ought to do some work on that. So the videos that we're making with Annie and Abilene here are based on 1 hour interactions once a week. But the real change that's coming for these two horses are coming in their daily interactions with Laura here. And I'd like for her to tell us a little bit about how it looks different when you're just living life with these horses than when we're just in here working with them for an hour.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like living life with people, you develop certain rhythms in your daily routine, and those rhythms start to feel safe and predictable, which definitely over time, there's been a lot of, it's been really rewarding to feel this sense of trust grow between me and Annie and Abilene. And it's gotten to where, well, I was just telling Tim this morning that, Annie is ready for trailering because she practically wants to walk into the feed room with me. She steps both feet in now, and I have to kind of ask her to back up a little so she doesn't get caught in there. But she feels very comfortable in doing that. She gives me her butt every day to scratch and to brush, and she's started giving me her sides, which, as we know from last week's session, that's difficult for her. So today she just spontaneously, I wasn't asking her, I was just brushing her on the rear while their food was soaking, and she turned her right side to me, which I thought was a pretty big thing because I know that that's her dominant side, and that's her side where she feels like she wants to protect more. So that feels rewarding. Those little exchanges feel really rewarding. Abilene as well. Actually, anytime I walk out here, Abilene's the first one to come up to me. And she has started coming up in so much more of a calm way, especially since you've been working with her. It's been a little difficult for me to relate just with Abilene because Annie tends to chase her off every time I start to pay attention to her. But so those sorts of incidental exchanges usually come when I'm walking around out here or whatever, and Abilene will be the first one to come up. In fact, this morning I was walking out from my house toward this pen, and I kind of figured they might follow me in, and sure enough, I started walking. Abilene came from where she was, 50 feet away, and came up to me and started following me in here, and Annie as well. So those kinds of interactions are really rewarding, and I'm not really asking them for those. It's just sort of happening because they're starting to really trust me, and I trust them. And
yeah. So I think once Annie gets really comfortable that she can find connection anytime she asks for it, she'll quit feeling the need to run Abilene off when Abilene seeks attention. And that's a pretty basic thing for horses in the wild or in captivity. It's as resources become more limited, it pushes them more into the survival parts of their brain, and they do a lot more me thinking than we thinking. Once Annie realizes that your attention and your connection is always there, I think she won't feel the need to run Abilene off as much. And those are things that you'll see long before we see them in here in this round pen. In here in this round pen, we're helping them learn how to have relationships when a request is made of them. In your daily relationships, you don't go around making requests a lot of times. But
you do need to.
you do need
Sometimes.
to.
Especially when it's your responsibility to take care of children
Yeah.
or pets or whatever, you need to.
I make more requests of my little kids than I do my wife, because they need that interaction to learn to develop the parts of their brain that they're developing right now. I have a 5-year-old son and a almost 2-year-old daughter, and they need a lot more requests than my wife does, because they don't have those parts of the brain developed well yet.
Yeah, that development plays a big role in even the development of our relationship, right? Is I don't have to make as many requests of you when you actually get better at attuning to see what I need. And like today you're talking about Annie or Abilene was 50 feet away and she saw you coming over here. You didn't have to make the request. She saw what you needed.
Yeah.
And a couple times we've come out, the last time they were already up here on a Tuesday morning because there's rhythm, there's a pattern to what we're doing. And maybe they start to understand, oh, this is what we're doing Tuesday morning. This is what they need, right?
Yeah, I think they look forward to it.
Yeah.
I do.
And so all we're doing here, and what you say with the kids, is we're having to make more requests that push them a little past their window of tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell them they're going to school. This morning I said, hey girls, you get to go to school today. And they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like any relationship, the more positive interactions you have, the more that trust grows. So, not every relationship works that way. A lot of people are in relationships where that trust on those daily interaction gets destroyed a little at a time instead of built a little at a time. And making sure that the relationship you're having with these horses are interactions that build on that instead of destroying it's really important. And I wish we could just put a camera on you every morning when you get up and let you show us the daily interactions with these horses that are building that. But of course we can't do that, but and no one would sit there and watch it that long, probably.
I don't think it was that interesting.
Yeah, it's like watching life happen.
Yeah.
And that's what really matters with these two horses, is how is their life on a daily basis. Not if their life on a daily basis is not working well, then I can't make any really lasting changes in here in the round pen in 1 week. I mean, in 1 hour a week. And it's like people that bring their kids to therapy expecting us to fix them in 1 hour a week. Well, we can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason we don't go around training people's horses. We can teach their horses some skills, some basic skills about how to feel stress and learn how to self-regulate a little bit. But unless that daily interaction is changing for them, unless the person interacting with them, unless the parent interacting with the child is making some changes and doing things in their relationship, then really we can only help about that much.
Yeah, because healing comes from the relationship. And the relationship isn't an hour a week in here in this round pen. The relationship is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's where the healing for these girls are coming. And I'm glad we get to be part of it. But also understand that the big part of it are the little things that you're doing on a daily basis with these horses that makes a real big difference for them. And we're not trying to rush anything in here in this round pen. We're trying to, because the only goal we have with these horses is building a good relationship.
Yeah.
That's the only task we're interested in.
Yeah, people always ask me, well, what do you want to do with those horses? I mean, how soon you want to ride them or whatever. It's like, I don't really care about that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm hoping someday our relationship will be close enough, and I believe it will be, that we can ride, that we can do all kinds of things, but that's not the goal. The goal is to have a safe, connected relationship with one another. It's healing for both of us, for all of us, all three of us, and so
Yeah.
that's it. That's the only goal. And so every time they're in here, I think as a former teacher, I know it's important to provide just the right amount of stress, or else you never get learning. You never grow.
yeah,
Like if you just had a school where kids just came and played all day long and did what they wanted. I mean, there's a place for that, but there has to be a little bit of challenge if there's going to be any growth. I'm hoping that we can provide that without taking away their sense of felt safety and the reward that they feel in the relationship. So there's always that window there that we have to work within. So
yeah.
I'm fine with it taking as long as it takes. I'm not.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I think a big part of the process with horses like this is so much of what we're doing to start out with is helping them learn how to not just connect with their outside world and other beings in it, but with themselves internally. And you talk about that sense of safety, not losing that safety. I think we're starting to see that sense of safety is starting to become more felt.
Mm-hmm.
And even just, we came over here and started talking to the camera, and they came out of there and came over here. They're starting to really feel more safe exploring their environment, and that's that full brain integration. If we can get them to those places, we're going to start really progressing in this relationship.
Yeah.
yeah. It works the same way as it does with little kids. If it's not safe to explore their environment, that's really going to interfere with their attachment. It's going to make it really unsafe to attach if we can't explore. So the fact that they feel safe enough to come in here and explore what we're doing in here means we're on the right track with these girls.
Mm-hmm.
And for her to step in the feed room and say, hey, if you let me help you with that, we could get that done a little quicker.
Just let me manage this.
Right. And I'm sure she's probably calculating too. She's like, this room isn't quite big enough for Abilene to get in, so like it'll all be mine. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think we need to start with today? We usually let them tell us what we need to start with, and we're going to have some idea of what we want to do, but y'all may have noticed in these videos that we really listen to the horses and let them tell us what they need, and try our best to figure out what those needs are and to meet those needs in a way that's safe for them, but also safe for us.
Yeah, and I have ideas.
Oh yeah,
And we
always.
Come out here and see. The last time we came out, hopefully everybody's been able to notice Annie's, maybe Abilene's kind of progressed a little bit more in her ability to regulate in her body and to kind of explore some things that are scary. And I think Annie still has a lot of room to grow in that area, so we purposefully last week split them off and just did some work with Annie on that. Hopefully we're going to get her more into that level where Abilene's at, and just being able to cope with the stress that this new stimuli presents in her body.
Yeah, and one of the things I noticed just watching, I wasn't here last week, but watching that video, even when you separated them, Abilene still stayed a part of the process.
Yeah.
She stayed right there on the outside of the pen and stayed there to connect with anyone that was willing to do it.
Yeah, so it's not the separating, it was because Abilene gets so good at this, getting her out of my way a little bit so I could focus more
Yeah.
on Annie.
Well, and Annie has a tendency to use Abilene to keep from having to deal with the humans in her life. And she can't, at this point, deal with both without controlling Abilene.
Yeah.
And we want her to get to the point where she can stay connected to Abilene without having to feel the need to control her. And hopefully with what we're doing, that's going to come. But that's a process.
Yep.
It's not, the healing doesn't come in the solution, it comes in the process.
I think one thing we didn't get on film last week is when we opened the gate to let these girls out, I just made sure that they stayed connected with me as they left, and they calmly were able to walk out into the pasture, and they got 50 yards away before they felt the need to take off and run.
Yeah.
And so just their ability to stay more calm in their body, and the more we help them, I can open up the gate and just let them run out. But the more we help on just these little daily interaction things, and the more you continue to do that, you're going to see big changes.
Yeah.
In just their overall state of being, I guess.
Well, then let's see who wants to come in this morning, and we'll figure out what they need.
Okay. I'm going to take this with us.
Okay.
And you got the mic, so you're working.
Oh, that's how we determine who's going to work with the horses.
Who got
Who's
tricked into wearing the
who
mic.
got tricked into wearing the mic.
That's right.
There you go. Well, so they both came in, and that's okay. Hi, girls. Hi, Abilene. How are you today, huh? How are you? That's a good job, Abilene. So Abilene's doing a little stuff to release the tension she's feeling. That's great. Annie's not to that point yet, but we're just going to let them settle in and see what they're needing this morning. Abilene is getting where she feels comfortable making a request of us. And that's good. I want my horses and my own personal horses do this. When I'm out around them, they start to make requests of me because they get to ask for what they need out of the relationship too. Most of the time it's a scratch or something to eat, but they know what the schedule is on that. And most of the time what they're requesting is, are you connected to me? That's what they want to know. Are you connected? Do I need to request that we connect? And I want to be present enough that my horses recognize I'm connected the minute I'm in their presence. I don't want them to think I disconnect just because I go in the house. And that's something that comes from lots of little interactions. That's not some big interactions that happen in a round pen. That's day-to-day stuff that we've done over the course of a lot of years. So what I would like for Annie to be able to do at some point is to just relax when she's in here in this round pen. Like Abilene's doing. Not making any requests of either one of them right now. And I'd like for them to not stay so much in the survival part of their brain that they feel they have to be hypervigilant every second I'm in here in the round pen with them. And man, Abilene's there. She said, well, you're not asking anything. I can see if there's any of this grass worth eating. Annie still is in the part of her brain where that doesn't feel safe to her. So we're going to try to help Annie get where she can just feel safe with me in here and not have to worry about what I'm doing or what I'm going to ask or what my agenda is. And if she doesn't get there, Abilene's going to eat up all the grass. And Annie won't get any of it. And the reason I'm continuing to move instead of just stopping and standing still is because it's movement that really kind of puts her over the edge and makes her wonder what it is I'm wanting. And I want her to be okay with me moving. Hi, Abilene. How are you, girl? Huh? So Abilene comes up and says, yeah, I noticed you. I see what you're doing. Is it okay if we even connect a little? And I didn't just ignore her. Because when she asks for that attention, just like my 2-year-old, if I ignore her, then she starts to feel like it's not safe for her to ask. And I want her to always feel safe to ask for that when she feels like maybe she needs it. I know. It's really tough, isn't it, Annie? So you may have noticed that Abilene just took a really big, deep breath and then went back to eating. And that's just the part of her nervous system becoming regulated enough that she doesn't worry about me eating her. And you'll notice that Annie gets a little more anxious when I stop. There's some predictability in me moving. It's when I stop that I become a little more unpredictable. She doesn't know what's going to happen next. And she worries about that a lot. She's actually swishing her tail now. That takes a little level of relaxation that she hasn't been capable of up until now. Hi, Abilene. How are you, girl? Huh? How are you? How are you? Huh? Yeah. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey. Now, Abilene, you know I'm going to walk over here by this fence, but you keep coming over here. So, at this point, I've taken my hands out of my pockets and started to swing my arms more as I walk. And that's just a little bit of increase in energy to see if she can stay a little bit regulated even with more energy coming from me. When I saw her start to relax a little, then I started to bring a little more energy to it because I don't want her to get to the point where she can only regulate when I keep my energy really low. I want her to be able to regulate herself no matter where my energy's at. So as she gets to where she can handle more energy and regulate under more energy, I'm going to continue to increase the energy a little bit. Now at my age, there's only a certain level you can increase it to. I may have to get Tanner to come in here. He's younger than I am. He can increase the energy more. I'm not going to be running around this round pen. I might make it halfway around before my heart gave out, but I'm just going to be increasing my body energy as she tells me she can handle that. So this is one of the things that Laura gets to do every day out here, is she gets to move around these horses and they get to learn that they can relax around Laura. Well, I want them to understand they can do that no matter what we're doing. It's not only when I'm not interacting with them that they can relax. I want them to learn they can relax even when we are interacting. So I was just seeing how long I could stand there before that anxiety caused her to need to move. Didn't affect Abilene. Abilene don't mind. She can stay regulated and go about her business when I'm going about mine. Doesn't mean she ignores me. She knows where I'm at all times. She'll even look up and acknowledge me from time to time. But she's not hyper-vigilant about me being in here and being around. And I want Annie to learn how to bring herself back to a state of calm. That's where she struggles the most, is being able to bring herself to a state of calm.
scares me so much this thing. I can't connect it. Hard. You don't think this passive, the brainstem still picks up on it. But it's so doing this, so much. It's coming down. Mine. The unpredictability scares her. And the thought of it scares her so much that she's not even able to sit still. And so, giving her all this time and space to find the predictability. Boy, and you can see it when you're down and it's making her a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, really watch what Annie does. She's getting where she's okay sometimes with me going around her. But when I get in that spot that's exactly behind her, where it's harder for her to see me, she's always turning her right side to me to find me. She's finding me over her right hip, which is just information about the side she worries about herself. Sometimes she's okay with me being down this left side, but when I cross that midline onto her right side, she feels a little panic and tries and moves so that she doesn't have to feel it. Abilene, on the other hand, is not worried about me at all. Doesn't care which side I'm on. She's not afraid that if she can't see me, she's not going to be safe. She's not worried about if I'm not on the correct side that she's going to be safe. Do we have technical issues?
Your mic stopped recording at some point.
Uh-oh.
I don't know when that point was.
Still got green on it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times my magnetic personality interferes with this technology stuff. That's why I never could wear one of those self-blind watches. I didn't move enough to keep them wound up.
No, it should be recording again. I don't know when it stops. But
Huh?
So that picked up some, I guess.
pick up a little.
That's a shame. I said lots of really brilliant stuff here. I hope it recorded it.
Just say it again.
Yeah.
Why would it stop? Did it stop pairing or did it stop?
Oh. But the mic wouldn't.
And it says searching. What the searching? So it's not on now?
Put the app there.
Oh.
But so the lights on the front tell you if it's recording or not.
Well, it wasn't. The lights on.
But they weren't recording stuff.
Not working? Only works when I say something. You realize that, right?
Come back over here for a second. No, you're still recording.
Okay.
So if they're solid, it's just a light. So really, the light should go off. Then it's still on. But if they're on, then the top one.
Right, it's the volume.
Yeah, it's good. So it stops messing with the mic.
Okay, so we see that Annie has brought herself from a state probably of terror to start with to a state of fear down to a state of alert. I think she's gone even past alarm down to alert. So she may still be a little alarmed at what I'm doing, and I haven't done anything to change that. She's had to do something to change that. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for her to build in the ability to go higher in her brain and come lower down the arousal continuum. And I know she's not going to go from a state of fear to a state of calm. The only way you can really do that is to dissociate. And I don't want her doing that. So I know that it's an incremental shift. And I want to see those incremental shifts as she starts to bring herself down the arousal continuum. I don't want to be the one that has to bring her down the arousal continuum. I want her to figure out how to do that for herself. And all I'm doing is keeping the pressure the same to give her a chance to do that. No, that sure packed my hat, didn't it? There's, even though I know walking is not really good for you, I'm willing to do it to help Annie out a little bit. You know, that was really a pretty big thing for her. Let me come all the way down that right side, even if it's just.
Come here for a second.
Do what?
Can they see your mics? Are being a pain.
So you can't tell if it's recording or just not communicating with your phone.
Well, the lights on the front of this thing tell me that it's not doing great. Either way.
Probably the warmth of my heart is overheating those batteries. I would guess that's what's going on.
Looks like it's moving now.
I think your pacemaker's affecting it.
Could it?
Could be. If I had one, yeah, it probably would.
I see.
You can't sing this dead with a pacemaker. Hello? Is it working?
No, this is weird.
Just kind of moving in and out, huh?
App's all stove up here. Turn it off. Turn it on again. Did you turn it? Okay, there you go. There's on. Booting up. Okay. Alright, should be recording.
Okay, so for all y'all watching this, I know watching me walk around and around in circles can get overstimulating, but try to contain your excitement and understand I'm just trying to help Annie figure out some things. Don't watch me, watch Annie. Watch how she's responding to all this. So a couple of times I walked past Abilene without acknowledging her when she would look up and reach out to me. She got to where she was looking at me and pinning her ears. She doesn't like this.
Really?
Don't ignore me when you walk past me. And that time, as I acknowledged her, her ears came back up. So it bothers her if I don't acknowledge her when she tries to connect a little bit when I'm walking around. And I like to see that, actually. So we're really looking for Annie to find that state of calm that she can bring herself to. Not once the pressure's gone, but in the presence of a little bit of pressure. So even though I'm not making any requests, I practice pressure. Being in this lounge in where she can freely move wherever she wants to. Pressure. I want her to learn how to regulate the presence of stress, not in the absence of stress. That doesn't help her much. Regulating in the absence of stress might go help you a lot. Not across that midline, you better turn, yeah. There you go. So that's not a pattern right now that I have any desire to need to deal with right now. Not what we're working on. At some point, that pattern is going to be something we're going to have to help with. Not something I'm worried about right now. It's something I'm noticing. It tells me, yeah, it's something down the line she's going to need some help with. So it makes a difference that she's turning her head to me to keep me off to that side instead of turning her butt to me to keep me off to that side. When she's visiting with me, at least she's thinking more and making some choices instead of waiting for the survival part of her brain to kick in and move her body. She's letting her neocortex move her body a little bit, which is preferable to me than the survival part of her brain moving her body.
You're at 5 minutes, Pop.
Okay, so we didn't make a lot of big progress today. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for great big changes. Progress we have made today is Annie has been able to bring herself from a state of terror to a state of alert. We didn't get all the way to a state of calm, but I didn't expect us to get all the way to a state of calm. Expect us to work toward it. And we have. We've made some pretty good progress toward that. In relationships, big changes pretty rare. It's little changes that we acknowledge and that we appreciate and that we embrace. If we're waiting for the big changes, we recognize, well, we're really setting our relationships up for some problems. And I'm glad Annie has been able to bring herself down to a state of alert. And when I quit moving, she can even be a little more calm. I'd like to see her at some point, as I'm just walking around here, to act like Abilene does. Well, you know, if you're not requesting anything from me, I might as well be eating something. So that's where we're going to leave it today. Hope it wasn't too exciting for you. Tune in next time when Tanner's doing it, and there won't be this much excitement. Thank you.